Imagine living in a world where you are surrounded by people consuming sugar-sweetened beverages, breakfast cereals, rice, pasta, and fruit-flavored yogurts. But you cannot simply because you are diabetic. The founding script for Othellos Limited is that of a diabetic man engineering diabetic-friendly cookies for people with diabetes.
My father is diabetic since 1990, and he was never able to find a safe treat for him. So he engineered the recipes, two of them, and then I made myself one. And him being a diabetic, we saw the suffering that he's facing. So we thought that every single diabetic must have the same issue. They cannot really find safe treats. So that's why we decided to make the cookies for them. And also when we started the cookies for diabetics, we discovered they're also keto-friendly, gluten-free, and sugar-free, but also vegetarian.
Mihai's father is not the only one suffering from diabetes. According to data by the Ministry of Health, the prevalence of diabetes among adults was estimated to be 3.1% in 2019 and is projected to rise to 4.4% in 2035. The data shows that more than 8,700 diabetes-related deaths were registered in Kenya in 2015. This rise in diabetes is associated with demographic and social changes such as globalization, urbanization, aging population, and adoption of lifestyles such as consumption of unhealthy diets and physical inactivity. But Mihai wanted to inject some hope in these worrying statistics.
We started this business with the idea of serving a safe treat for diabetic people. People who are suffering from diabetes, they don't really have on the market currently a cookie which is safe for them, because most of the people would buy cookies which are sugar-free. However, sugar-free does not mean that it's for diabetic. For us, we went a step forward and we looked for carbohydrates. We did not want any carbohydrates. So we removed the flour, we use instead almond flour, and we remove the sugar. We use a sweetener called erythritol. Why these ingredients? Because erythritol has a glycemic index of 0 and almond flour has a glycemic index of 1, which means it will not spike the sugar of a diabetic.
Mihai Ignat, the co-founder of Othellos Limited, boasts about their signature recipe for cookies. But like many other startups, Ignat's business has not been without challenges. The startup has had its fair share of challenges in the 2 years of existence, especially that Ignat and his father were new to the Kenyan market.
New ones all the time, you don't know what. You have to start first, you don't know where to approach. So a lot of things new to learn. And it was interesting. We were looking around for the places because we set up a bakery. We were looking up for people whom we can work. We were looking up for packaging. We were looking up for ingredients that are available here and what are the ways to get them here also. And I would say it was very, very interesting because a lot of things here aren't available and you need to source everything. It's not like in other countries where you can call the supplier A and you find everything. No, here you need to outsource everything. And it's really interesting, I would say.
A previous survey by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics showed 2.2 million micro-small businesses shut down in Kenya in the 5 years ending 2016. The figure is an equivalent of approximately 440,000 MSMEs closing yearly, a statistic that has seen startups like those of Ignat struggle to access capital.
And it's costed us around 15 million to start. A lot of those money went into research to make sure that the cookie that we developed, it's indeed for diabetic. So we have been to different clinics, we certified them with different clinics, we checked diabetic clinics if the diabetic has any reaction to them. It requires then also the capital required to start to buy the equipment such as oven, mixers, and so on. So indeed, it was a lot, and a lot of money goes into marketing and customer education because there is a lack of customer education for the diabetic people. Diabetic people don't really understand, many of them do not really understand what they can eat and what they cannot eat. For example, there is a misconception around that honey is good for diabetics. That's not true at all. Honey is not good for diabetics. Neither brown ugali. As long as there is a carbohydrate inside, it's not good for them. As a diabetic, you should focus to consume mainly fibers. Mainly fibers, which they can easily be found in nuts, such as almonds, walnuts, and so on. We were looking for the diabetic market, basically, people which suffer from diabetics. And we figured out that in Nairobi alone, there are about 150,000, if I'm not mistaken, diabetics. So we figured out there is a market here, so we can proceed, even though it's a niche market. However, this niche market was not covered by anyone else.
Ministry of Health says there are many undiagnosed cases of diabetes which are a public health concern and eventually a strain on resources. Ignat believes this presents a larger market to tap into and grow revenues.
We have not yet broken even, that's true, because we are still expanding. We faced a lot of issues, and mainly the issues were delays. Delays that we faced from different institutes. We thought that, for example, KEBS, we thought that KEBS would be a question of 1 week, 2 weeks. However, it took us about 4 months, and we did not really plan for that. So currently, because we face a lot of issues from the supply chain side, we have limited ourselves to construct about 150 boxes in a day. However, our target will be about 1,000 boxes per day. For that, we are also waiting for other machinery to come, a cookie cutter mainly, because we spend a lot of time in cutting manually each cookie.
Apart from being new in the Kenyan market and having to market the product and push up sales, Ignat reckons that he did not get everything perfectly right. He made a couple of mistakes while starting up.
Packaging. It was a mistake to make the same color of packaging. We have 3 different flavors, 3 different tastes, yet we make them look identical, all of them. Another mistakes were in suppliers. We did not use the right suppliers at the beginning, and they were too expensive, the local suppliers. For example, in price only, 1 kilogram of almond flour, we were buying it from the supermarket instead of from the distributors. And the supermarket, they were going for like 2,000, 3,000 shillings, something like that, per kilogram. And that was the mistakes we were doing at the beginning. Lessons I learned that first, before doing the product, I was supposed to go in the market and present to the retailers. You want this product, yes or no? What are the steps to get inside? So first, we focused to make the product, and then once we have the product ready, we went to retailers. So there we faced delays. And getting accepted, getting the products on the shelf.
If Ignat succeeds to grow to the next level, he will have joined the growing global market of businesses playing in the space of healthy diets. According to Statista, the global health and wellness food market was valued at $841 billion and is projected to hit $1 trillion by 2026. For KT News, I'm Dombi Esther Diana.